Hey guys, Chris here at PGTT120. Please excuse the civilian garb. All the peachy kit is in the wash. Right, we are going to have a look at um, some models from Inoxian models, some 3D printed resin, 3D resin printed models. Um, he reached out to me, or they reached out to me, and said, "Would you show off our latest LNER um, uh, Signal Box?" But they also send me some other bits and bats too. Now, uh, so we're going to have a look at all of them, okay? And then we're going to give them away because none of it really fits with what I'm modelling at the moment, and they've been given to me free. So I thought, actually, this might be a nice thing to give back to you guys, okay? So we are going to have a look at, in no particular order, we'll have a look at the Signal Box. This is in its LNER garb, but it actually originated from the Manchester, Sheffield, and Lincoln Railway. So kind of went across the country. Um, Now there's a few of them that still exist. This one is specifically now 2 seconds. It's going to appear in the screen. This is where this one comes from because I've forgotten it. Okay. And then, but there's another one almost exactly like it. I think Workshop, and which is almost exactly that. And it's been restored and it's in beautiful colour condition, so you can see that colour. But the staircase is on the other end. Okay, I think the one at Gainsborough, is it? Oh, I want to say Gainsborough, but anyway, the one that's nearer Lincoln is ended up in BR grey. It's had various grey and white paint jobs over the years. There's lots of photographs of it online in various states of condition. So you can model that in the Era 11 with a load of graffiti on the side of it if you like. Plenty of images. Just Google them. I'm not going to put those images up here so that because I'll end up clashing with copyright. But there was lots of images of the two versions of this um, signal box in the restored yellow and yellowy cream and green, and then there's the sort of BR modern era network rail grey. Someone said that they think there might be some of these west of the Pennine, so these might work well for a bit of LMS work, if that's for your duchesses to fly by. Who knows? That's for you to find out. Okay. But what we're going to do is we'll have a little look at the model, but we're also, I think as part of the review, is I want to see how easy it is to paint. So we're going to do a paint job on that one. So the actual ticket, so um, the signal box will be painted. Okay, it might not be to your cup of tea, but it's free. Get over it. Right. So, and then the other things we're going to do, we're going to look at. So let's have a quick chat about the other pieces first. All right. So one of the bundles will be it's a terraced shop scene. Okay. So you've got here, you've got the corner store, which is very nicely detailed. It doesn't have anything on the inside. You have to create that yourself, unless he comes up with something in the future. And it's got a nice little yard at the back there. And then we've got the terrace shop, and this particular one is the fish and chip shop. Again, very neat. I think he also does a left and a right terraced house to really link this lot up. Both very handsome, very well detailed models, as you will see. Yeah, they're not what I'm going to be having um, on my model, on my layout. So I could have taken advantage of having some nice freebies, but I think maybe I'm going to leave these out and keep that these will be sent out to you guys for free. The next little bundle that's going to come out to you is it's the Thatched Cottage, which could also, I think you could also possibly double up as a little inn or a little pub, a little country pub, a small one. Unfortunately, in packaging, a couple of some of the posts are broken off. I've glued two back on. The other two were just completely destroyed. About six pieces each. So you're going to have to do a little bit of scratch building to repair those, but it's still a nice model, still worth having. And I throw in with that the nice little village stroke town clock tower, which has a nice little doorway, and it has a little drinking fountain, a little window, and a hollow inside. So I suppose if you're modelling it as post 30s, you could have a little warm bulb in there of an evening for the watchman to go up and, or I don't know, maintenance or whatever, or just for the excuse of having somewhere else to have a light shine out of. Right, let's get over to now cleaning up and prepping and painting the signal box and see whether or not working in the TT120 gauge is it too much of a faff? Can you get some detail out of it? Is it fun? Being in your 50s or 60s and having your eyesight fall off a cliff and try and paint these things. I've got my little friend here, my Mercury unit, with this little torch, and it clips on over my glasses like that, and I can see what I'm doing. Fortunately, it doesn't actually assist in the skill level. So I think, particularly when I take my glasses off, I think the signal box looks great. Okay, but when I put my glasses back on again, or at least my readers, I think, oh, I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit too heavy. Maybe it's not accurate enough. I don't know. Some people will. I, I'm not a professional painter. Okay, right. Right. We'll do a little bit of the video. At the end of it, I'll tell you about how you can win this stuff. Okay, see you in a bit.
Okay, so this is how it appears out of the box, as it were, with a bunch of stalks for protecting it, and you can see quite a few little stands for the build-up. Nice and neat, nice and square. I would possibly suggest that maybe it would have been more helpful if this had been in two pieces, but never mind. I'm going to have a little go at cutting into the base of this and turning it into two pieces. I can paint it separately. So tools I'm going to use is some tweezers and some little round point nose pliers, and the best tool is the wife's Tweezerman stainless steel cuticle cutters, which I find really, and some readers obviously. Yeah, that's pretty much I think all in a scalpel, of course. Okay, so it comes with some instructions. The main reason for this is, I think, really to show you what detail is actually the model and so you can separate it from the components that are the printed support. As you can see here, it shows you that there's two parts. The interior goes up on the inside, and I know there should be some glazing, which this one didn't come with. It's not really going to affect me. You see these, yeah, so that goes, G1, G2, 3, G4, G5 are all, should be glazing. But anyway, let's have a quick crack at trying to trim it in half. So I should have done this with a razor saw and been a bit more patient, because when I pull it apart, I damaged the actual gutter, as you can see. The magnifying thing shifted in when I speeded it up. But I'm going to have to go back and repair that little dent in the guttering, but it wasn't that difficult. A little bit of super glue. Right, bit of nippy, get rid of some all these little pieces with a scalpel. Just want to clean up the back of that window, because that's the bit that's going to be seen through the window. So you just need to just tickle up that little bit so that you don't get so many little dots. And then work my way around. Now, most of these are really easy to shift. I found that there was one special area around the other end of supporting these steps. Is whilst working on this, I realised that the two supports for these components here and here are the same thickness as the components, so you can't really snap them, so you have to cut them. And then whilst cutting with a razor saw, I actually had a little accident, broke a piece off. which I again had to glue back on again. Now this is that's a little bit of broke off. This is something that I've spoken to the designer about, and they are going to make sure that it's an issue with the file. They can resolve that so that the supports for those pieces are down to a fine point, so it's easier to snap them. Now, what I'm doing here, because there's a multiple layer of support underneath this, I'm cutting away the front layer so that when I'm painting down there, I'm painting to a clean edge, but I'm still supporting it. Right, quick coat of primer. Oh yeah, sorry, at this point I realised that it was getting a bit boring being on the base, so I took it completely off. Right, going in with, I've got some nice Tamiya colours here. I think this is desert yellow or dark yellow. Sort of thing you might find painting a panther or a tiger in the desert. And then I noticed that the framework, the timber framework of the restored one over in Workshop was actually all the timber work black. And then you've got white window frames, and then you've got green detailing. So the guttering and the walkway is green. Sorry for the focusing and where I'm aiming the camera at. Yeah, it's not very helpful, is it? Speak for this bit. Sorry for the poor framing. I really should have more clearly marked where I was supposed to be working. Right, now I'm just giving a bit of white on the inside, and even with my sort of funky bent brush, I found it a real struggle actually to get into the upper area. So this is why I think that, like the 00 gauge, this would be a model that would be easier to work on if the roof was removable. It would, you'd have a chance to do some really nice work on the inside, but working upside down like this, the best I could do was a little bit of white to help block and reflect. Right, a little bit of grey, a darker grey here and there to do some sort of replacement tiles. Obviously they'll blend in a bit more when the whole thing's washed. I think we could probably speed this up a little bit. Now the main event, detailing this interior. Again, bit tricky in this scale with so many sort of vertical things to try and get in there and paint these boards, but at the end of the day I don't think you're going to see much of the floor really, but obviously we want to get it as neat and tidy as possible, so nice little bit of basic brown for the floor, and then we shall crack on with a few other little detail colours like the particular green that we used outside. I'm going to switch over to some black for the stove, and there's like a sort of cast iron kind of unit, which I thought I'd do that in black as well. The rest of the woodwork, including the chair, I'm going to do in a lighter brown, a little bit like a light oak, maybe a pine, just to sort of make it a little bit different. And to help highlight the rack, we'll put a little bit of black in the slot for a shadow effect. All the instruments on the shelf will get a very dark brown, and then we'll probably go back with a bronze later on to highlight the metal pieces. A quick touch of terracotta for the tiled stove base. Right, let's get the red out and do the majority of the leaders are red. I think we'll do a little red seat as well on the chair, and there's a little red book. Next colour on the levers is yellow, makes a nice contrast. Flows a little easier than the red actually. Need to buy a new red. Then it's on with the whites on the levers, and we'll put a little bit on the open books on the table, just to finish that off. Again, I apologise for the framing of this. Now on with this. I'm using aluminium. I was going to go gunmetal, but it just seemed a bit dark, and then I just wouldn't see it through the window. So I was trying to make some nice bright contrasts so that you could actually focus on them if you look through the window. So on we go with the aluminium, and we do the tops and the bottoms of the handles as well. This was quite rewarding, this piece. Right, so anyone familiar with Warhammer will be familiar with Nuln oil from Citadel Paint. Now this is a really nice washing medium, which works really I think it works really well, doesn't attack anything underneath. I got a little bit carried away, but a little bit too much on. A little bit later, you'll see that I came back and refreshed all the cream because I just made it way too dirty. Now time for a little bit of dry brushing. I'm just using like a lighter shade of whatever the base area is. So obviously this is a light grey. This is where a super detailed 3D print really kind of earns its money, because that's when you can really highlight what's going on. And I think the roof tiles work really well. As I said, I did go back over. I used some green and added a bit of white to the green to line it up, just to edge off the green stuff, just to give me a little highlight. My green gutters and so on and so forth. And the ladders and things, you can see the state of my thumb. It's only just gone back to its normal colour now. But it makes a good palette, the flesh. Not much to highlight in here, but went over with a dry brush anyway, just to sort of pick a few corners off. And here it is, as you can see, slightly freshened up on the cream. Trying to get the leads here to sort of focus beyond the white window frames, which in TT120 scale are possibly a little bit thick. They're much finer on the 00 version that Inoxian have printed. This is possibly somewhere where a scratch builder could come in and actually replace these with something finer. And also a scratch builder could put the thin black rod, which works as a handrail, which goes along the middle of those windows and is actually attached to the timber work. So there's a little something there that a scratch builder could do, and possibly open the bottom door so you can have a little bit of light bleed coming out the bottom door. Not that I think that's really necessary.
Hey guys, right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you found it sort of useful. I did eventually manage to get to paint, I think, most of it, a little crudely maybe, but it for me it works, and I think it looks okay. Some simple washes and a simple highlight over the base colours. I know there are people out there who are doing a lot more than that, but I really can't be bothered. I think everyone should do their painting to the standard that they're happy with. Otherwise, you won't be happy. Okay, right. So, what do you do to win this stuff? Right, it's very simple. Okay. First of all, you need to like the video. Secondly, you need to subscribe so that you can make a comment. Okay. So, when you make your comment, I would like you to give us a little bit of information. So, first thing is, do you think the roof of the signal box should be a separate item? It isn't. It is in 00. It isn't in N-gauge. But with the detail framework, I think it would be a lot easier. Only my personal opinion. I think it would be a lot easier to actually detail it with the roof off, and you can get back in there with your figures. You can do a little bit more work on the sides. You can detail up the roof. You can work out how you're going to hang your light in there. All of that kind of thing. So we want you to know. So I want you to comment on there, roof on or roof off. Okay, for the signal box. And then the other thing is a recommendation of what you would like Inoxian to make. What's the next thing that you would like Inoxian to make? Okay, so you need to tell me whether you want the roof on or the roof off. Me to say, I don't know, pub or whatever. I think they've already got a pub. Maybe maybe coal stays, or maybe I don't know, a Weybridge with a Weybridge office, or signal gantries, right? Anything like that. Just a recommendation. Anything that you want, just one item, not a long list. If you put a long list on there, you won't go in the hat. Okay. All you got to do is like, subscribe, say whether you want the roof on or off on the signal box, and tell us what you'd like an auction to make next. Okay. Simple as that. And then next week, what will happen is I'll put all the people who have actually entered into this competition in a hat. Julie will pull out 3 people, okay, and then I will contact those 3 people, or we'll work out some way. You should be able to email me that's what I'll do. Is once we've read out the winners, then all you need to do is email me. On the video will be my email address, okay, and we'll take it from there, and I will post these out to you. All right. Anyway, I hope this has been a bit of fun. I hope you're enjoying the fact that other small manufacturers are coming on board to give us more and more choice when it comes to how we detail our layouts. All that's left to say now is, please, of course, like and subscribe, poke Peach in the face, and then check out a couple of videos here that we'll be putting up soon. Cheers, take care, bye bye.